Hi, I'm Ryan from Affinity Motion's Property channel, and here today we have our special guest, Melvin Lim from PropertyLimBrothers.
Hi Ryan.
Hi Melvin,
Hi.
thanks for
Hi,
having
everyone.
us here. So we've been doing videos for quite some time, and if I recall, the first video that you did was about 3 years ago.
Yes.
How
about 3 years
has
back.
the way that people market their property changed since then?
Yes, 3 years back we actually started our very first home tour video, and that was actually for a HDB property, and I think that was in the late 2016. So the very first video actually was done together with Ryan, because Ryan has been a great help in my first few videos, and before we set up our own PropertyLimBrothers media team, actually Ryan has been the person that has helped me with especially my first 3 videos, right? So the first video was done for a property in District 19. It's a HDB property. And I still remember during that time when we first launched it, a lot of people were talking about, hey, you know, wow, why did this person go to such an extent to do this kind of home tours with a presenter element, right? And then there's music, there's subtitles, and then we're showing the place, and it was like a 2-minute video. And because that time everybody was actually technically just using photographs, the most common way to sell a property was actually by taking photographs with the phone and then putting it on a portal. So at that time I was actually asking myself, hey, I mean in my own context I felt that it was a little bit boring, because we've been doing the traditional way. I started from newspaper, flyers, mailers, portals, and I just felt that, you know, it's always like a waiting game when we put the photos on the portals. It is very useful. It's a search engine. It's a search capability kind of engine. It has really helped consumers to search for properties in a much easier fashion based on their own criteria. But I just felt that as property agents, there's so much more limitation. There's just like, and we can't think of things out of the box, you know, just by putting it on the portal. So surprisingly, I mean, thankfully within 30 days the property was sold, and that buyer actually came from the home tour. And so when we first got that first result, we were very happy, because we actually asked every single buyer that came through the door, and then we asked them, hey, where do you see this advert? So some said that, oh, I saw it from the portals. Some said, I saw it from your YouTube, I saw it from your Facebook, and we're running a bit of social media ads. And eventually the buyer actually came from the video because she was having coffee at the nearby mall, and then when she saw it, contacted us, came to view the place, and then she fell in love and she offered. Right? And then subsequently with the second video was for a condominium. It was chanced upon by a property agent. So a property agent saw our video, sent the video to her own buyer. The buyer saw the video, loved it, came and viewed the place, and subsequently also bought it within 30 days of marketing. And then of course the third one was for a landed property. And then subsequently after the third one, our team was fully convinced that video home tours really has an immense value, which is why until date we have done close to more than 500 over videos. And over the past 3 years the results has been great, and the more we do, actually the more we are convinced that it helps.
Yeah. So far you've been talking about getting viewers to your listings for buyers, right? And how about from a seller's perspective? How has it benefited a seller when they sell their house, when they engage you? How has it benefited them overall?
Right, yes. I think when we talk about real estate marketing, in our own vocabulary, I think that the most important thing is that, do we want to do very passive form of marketing, or do we want to be proactive? If we want to be proactive, there has to be a compelling content that is to be created. So if a compelling content is created, that gives us the flexibility to use it, and to use it to search and hunt for a buyer. And the way that we hunt for a buyer is to attract the buyer. Essentially, if we were to just list it on search engines and portals, we have to wait for the buyer to take their own initiative to search for us, right? But because a property is an immovable product, if we want to bring it to a buyer, it will be then challenging. So I think the beauty of doing a video home tour with a presentation element is that we can create a compelling, interesting content, and then we can put it at where people are based on what they are always spending their attention on. So everybody's attention is on your iPhone, is on your smartphone, your Android, and we look at all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we know there's TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really an attention game. And so the benefit to a seller and a buyer has different folds. So maybe let's talk about what's the benefit for a seller, right? So the benefit of a seller is that because of the content that's being created, we now have the ability to be more proactive in marketing. If we are proactive in marketing and at the same time we still utilize all the existing traditional portals, then it becomes like a fuller coverage in terms of marketing, and that would technically be stronger in terms of the overall campaign rather than just using one method. But now there's different kinds of methods. So for a seller's point of view, I think importantly is that the marketing will be stronger, and at the same time there's more exposure to the property, right? For a buyer's point of view, all buyers and sellers, they are all savvy, right? Sellers do their homework before they sell. The property agents will do a lot of homework before they sell the property. Buyers will do all their research before they take their own precious time to travel down and look at this property, because our weekends are precious. I want to make sure that at least this property is to a certain percentage up to my expectation, right? So in the past, if there's just some cranky photographs on portals and there's just like 2-3 photographs using the handphone and I can't really see what is this all about, I can't really see the layout, there's no floor plan, probably I still have to find out myself where's the location and I don't know what's the facing and stuff, I probably might not want to spend my time to go there, right? I might not even call the agent, right? But now, because there's a home tour element, I can see that, hey, does this layout suit me? Is this facing the right one for me? Is this floor level for me? Is the renovation suitable for me? And based on the plus points that is being set by the presenter of the home, do I want to spend my precious time to go down, right? So I think for the buyer, the benefit is that there's more transparency. And then when there's more transparency, the deal becomes easier in the sense that the buyers that come by, they are more genuine, they're more quality. It also benefits the seller, right? Because seller, they have to make time for viewings over the weekend. So I think for consumers, it bridges and it increases the value gap, right? So of course, people in the same industry as real estate professionals, some of them will still come and ask me today, hey Melvin, does home tour really work? And I just look at them and I tell them, it works. It definitely works. If not, we would not have done 500 over videos, and we would not have sold 269 properties in the last 24 months. And we love to do home tours because it really adds so much value to our clients as our sellers, and it helps the buyers as well. So over the past 3 years, actually every buyer that came through the door, we'll ask them, like, have you seen the home tour? What's your feedback? And the feedback has been great because a lot of buyers say that they love the home tours. It helps them to make their decision better. If it's really not for them, then they won't come and see, right? And if it's for them, then they will come. So I think the quality of the viewing will increase. Yeah, so that's for both benefits.
So in summary, it actually increases the efficiency that homes are being sold, properties are being sold, because there's less time spent on unneedful viewings.
Yes.
So the buyers, they really have to fall in love with the property after they view the home tour before they decide to call you.
Yeah, because sellers, there's a lingo, Sellers, one of the most feared thing, if let's say I'm the seller, I'm selling my home, is that I'll ask my agent, can you qualify the buyers? Please don't bring shoppers to view my place, especially those that are not ready to buy. Some sellers, they're very afraid that, the buyer walk in and say, oh, this one low floor. I didn't know this is low floor, And then it's like, everybody just wasted that time. Yeah. And some buyers will walk in and say, oh, I didn't know this one got west sun, So if all these things can be presented in a transparent manner, the plus points are being brought out, the minus points, of course, every property has its plus and minus points. Everybody knows that no property is perfect, right? So it's just that whether, in my perspective as a consumer, would a plus point overweigh the minus point and would I like the property or not? So as what you mentioned, I think as the seller's point of view is that we can really increase the quality of genuine buyers coming through the door.
And buyers don't waste their time making the effort to go down to a lot of viewings.
Yes.
Because buying a home, I don't think it's very easy. You have to make a lot of considerations. So after they see your video, they actually get a full picture, they have full disclosure of what are the unique features of a particular listing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's why your videos are pretty long form, as in they actually introduce a lot about all the surroundings, the amenities, the features of the home itself.
Yeah, I think it's because of the fact that probably I like to talk a lot more. I think a shorter video probably will not be sufficient for me to talk about all the other features of the property itself. So I want to talk a little bit more, which is why my videos tend to be slightly longer. Yeah, but We do have shorter videos and longer videos, so it's a wide variation.
So for consumers, they go to your channel. Last count, I think you have over 20,000. Are these subscribers, are they actually ready buyers, or are they just there for entertainment, or they want to find out more about the property market news, what's happening?
I mean, at PropertyLimBrothers, we have a crazy vision. Our vision is that we want to change the way real estate is being marketed in Singapore. So this is our very crazy, audacious vision. And I think the important thing is that all of us here in the team, we have fun doing real estate. And we're just so excited, to do new things for real estate in Singapore. How do we add more value to our consumers? Not just selling real estate purely. Of course, selling is our core passion. But at the same time, the more we do, we realize that apart from selling, we also want to educate the masses. We want to educate the public, share with people, how to look at properties in different perspectives, how to compare properties, what are some of the rules and regulations about mortgage loans, CPF usage, what to take note, how not to overcommit, how to make a wise decision. So we are very passionate about the education part as well, which is why in our channel, yes, we have subscribers coming in, looking at our home tours. They're also looking at behind the scenes. Some of them follow our vlogs, some of them look at our investor series, some of them look at our art series. So we have different kind of series that we talk about different parts of the real estate component, and I think that probably attracts a wider audience in a sense.
So you have a lot of content on your channel that's a lot of educational, as you mentioned. I mean, after they view all this content, they run through all the videos, do you think you are still relevant as a property agent? How else can you value add to people who engage you? I mean, DIY portals are all the rage a couple of years back, and also because you have a lot of content. I mean, they value add to consumers. You teach them a lot of stuff that they might or they might not know.
Right.
I mean, they can learn a lot from your videos, I'm sure. After that, won't they just use what they learn from you to do it on their own?
Right.
Why do you think real estate agents are still relevant in this time and age?
Right. Yeah, I think our current era is definitely an era of value adding, right? And for us, it's not so much as in when I do this video, what is the actual ROI that I get in return. For us, it's a combination and mixture of doing this because it's part of our passion, and at the same time we actually enjoy doing it, right? So whether end of the day, we cannot prevent people coming to watch our videos and learn things, and then after that doing DIY. I mean, that's all fine because all consumers have their own choices, all right? Sometimes I look at renovation channels and stuff like that, and then I learn a couple of things here and there. So everybody picks up things from the social media platform, and I think our day and age is really about sharing. It's a sharing economy. It's different from the past already. So importantly, I think whether real estate agents be so-called knockout of the industry, right? It will really depend on whether are the professionals, real estate agents, still adding value to consumers or not. Because end of the day, just to share an example, if let's say I'm planning to renovate my own home, because I want to save on the designer fee, all right, or I want to save on some of the fees that the ID probably would charge me for coordinating the project, right? And then I took on the whole job and I become my own contractor. I go and coordinate the plumber, the electrician, the carpenter, the tiler, the painter, the aircon man, and I become a contractor. I have to go down to my house to check the work every day, coordinate who comes in next and stuff like that. It's a matter of, do I want to exchange my time for this work, right? Because everybody is essentially having their own professional job. The real estate profession, it is a profession whereby it adds value in terms of time, in terms of effort, in terms of resource, in terms of expertise, and the final thing is that in terms of risk, and there's one more thing is that opinion. Alright, so what do I mean by that is that property agents, technically speaking, they are in a high-risk occupation, right? Why are they in a high-risk occupation? Because if they take on a project to sell, end of the day, they might not be able to sell it, right? So they could have went for viewings for 3 months, they have spent all their marketing dollars, advertising dollars, they have travel, viewing, and a lot of different stuff has happened. But end of the day, if there's a market change or stuff like that and they couldn't sell the place, then they have to absorb all the costs. So the risk factor plus time, professional expertise and their opinions and stuff like that, it is one factor that consumers love to purchase in a sense. Because, for example, I want to buy the time of my ID, right? I want to buy his expertise and I want to buy his professional opinion, because there could be blind spots in renovating the house that he can actually advise me, and he can be the one that's at the job site coordinating everything and I could be doing my professional work, right? So it's a matter of whether do the consumer want to have this exchange of value of time, expertise, resources and stuff like that, right? End of the day, I think a property agent will be made redundant if they cannot continuously increase their expertise to add value, right? So if that is lacking, then consumers will find that it's a bit imbalanced, you know, like I'm paying you to do the job but somehow you can't perform the job and things like that. So as long as I think real estate professionals increase their value, then definitely I think it's very hard to disrupt, right? End of the day, I think in a transaction, a seller-buyer transaction, it is good to have an advocate. Just like whenever we purchase things, we want to seek the professional opinion of the expert, right? Share with me the blind spot, you know, so many different kinds of properties in the market, strata houses, condominiums and stuff like that, but what are the blind spots? What are the plus and minus of this project, of this unit? Is there something that I missed out, you know? Share with me, like, you know, in future, if I want to sell the property, is there going to be difficulty if I want to sell this property? So there's a lot of different kind of blind spots and opinions and expertise that the professional can value at the consumer. So as long as the real estate professional industry, they continue to become better at their craft, I think it will be difficult to disrupt.
So it's all about buying expertise,
Yes.
and lowering your own opportunity cost if you're hiring an agent.
Yes.
A good one that is, and not just any agent.
Yes.
So we've heard a lot from Melvin how marketing landscape has changed in regards to property buying and selling over the last 3 years. So we'd like to thank Melvin for his time
Welcome.
and having us in his nice studio here.
Right.
And
Thanks for coming.
we hope that you can add more value to consumers via your channel,
Right.
and being on our channel as well.
Sure.
We hope to invite you again for this another interview.
Alright, it's great having you, Ryan. Alright,
Thank you, Melvin.
welcome. See you.